Hello everyone and welcome to another customs figure showcase, and today I will be showing off to you my teased figure of my regenerating 10th Doctor. Now, first of all, an apology because I think in my original teaser I said this was going to be a live from the workshop, and it was originally my intention, but unfortunately, to kind of long story short, circumstances and the way that this had to be made meant that it was actually easier to do it off camera. So I did end up doing it. But first things first as well, I would just like to give a shout out to somebody who I can't actually name because I don't know who they are, which sounds a bit odd, but basically my original plan for this figure was to use one of the, what I am calling the orange knockoff holographic 10th Doctor toys I bought. But when I got them, and when I saw them, they were obviously had much variation. If you haven't watched the review, I would urge you to go and watch it. It's under my What I Think playlist because it's very interesting. But yeah, so they were very different in terms of tone, and so I didn't want to take them apart to use for pieces. And then I actually came across a custom on eBay that somebody else had done, similar to this. They had used, I think it was the blue version of the body, but these head and hands were actually from their figure. So I have to say, I cannot take credit for making the head and hands of this, figure. That credit goes to the person who I got their figure from on eBay, that I used the parts from. A huge shout out to them. Unfortunately, because I bought this several months ago, and I believe this was a one-off figure by them, I don't have the details, and I haven't been able to find them on eBay again. So unfortunately, again, I know some people are going to ask, can you give us the details? I don't have the details anymore. I apologise, which is why I can't name this person. But if they do come across this video and they recognise their work here, I just want to say a huge shout out to you. This is, as some of you will know, this was my first custom, which I'm going to come back to in a minute, but without them, this is the kind of thing I originally envisioned doing, and without them I would never have been able to do this. So you know, really huge thank you to them for helping me do this. Yes, as I said, this was my first ever custom. Now, it is pretty much the same as you see it here, but one thing that I didn't have on my previous one, which I've got on this one, there's a bit of glue there which I need to get off, but basically it was these extended underarm pieces, which I've added on to just make the hands and the arms stand out a little bit further, as he does in the pose. And what I'm going to show you now are the original head and hand pieces that I made from modelling clay. Now, these are pretty terrible, as you can see. You get the kind of idea what I was going for. Yeah, they are pretty bad, but this was the first ever thing I sculpted as such, and it was the first ever thing I did. It was the first ever custom that I'd made, and it was, compared to by today's standards, it was awful. But I keep those pieces because that's my first bit of sculpting. It's got in some ways quite a sentimental value to me. But yeah, this was what I originally envisioned. Is my original vision was to make a transparent version of the 10th Doctor's head, and then use some kind of transparent plastic to have it inside there. And it was very ambitious. I don't know why I ever thought I could achieve it. But then when I came across the holographic orange versions, I thought, that's it, that's what I need. So I bought them, and then I came across this, and this is even better because it has the kind of sort of regeneration energy look to it. Now, maybe some of you can help me here, because I actually don't know what figure these original parts are from. I've done a little bit of research online, and the closest thing I can find them to is now, I don't know my superheroes, so I don't know if it's Marvel or DC, but is it now he's not called Mr. Flame, Human Torch from the Fantastic Four? I think that might be where these parts are from. So obviously the head is a head, obviously, but the hands themselves are literally just pieces of flame, which I've glued in, obviously, and put those onto there. They've been cut away from something. I don't know how well you can see this on camera, but they've definitely been cut away from something. So they've been cut away from another figure, and obviously the head is still as the head is, but yeah, there's definitely something that is, I'm pretty sure it's from a superhero figure. But what I did essentially was, they were originally just completely plain orange plastic, but what I did was I gave them a quick whitewash of white acrylic paint, followed by a quick wash of kind of yellow metallic yellow acrylic paint, and it just gave it again that little bit of depth. It gave it the face, made the face stand out a bit more with just a little bit more detail from certain angles. It's quite hard to capture on camera, but when you see it in hand, it does have a kind of sort of white yellowish haze to it, which sort of, I really wanted to kind of capture the essence of regeneration and things like that. The arms are a little bit rough around the edges, but overall I think it does work. It does work very well, and yeah, I'm very pleased with how it's come out, and it's certainly a great way for me to revitalize and revamp my very first custom figure. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and please check the description below for a link to my Patreon. It would really help me out a lot if you supported that as well. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.